Hey everybody, this is TK from LunchboxIcons, and I'm bringing you another tutorial on how to speed up your computer's performance. Now, sometimes you may notice over time your new PC isn't looking so new anymore and it starts slowing down. But this doesn't mean you need a new computer. There are a couple things you can do to speed it up a bit. Now, my first tip is just go into your control panel and uninstall any unnecessary files that you don't use anymore. Some of them could be malicious, or some of them could be just hogging disk space, and you never know, some of these can be running in the background and hogging your precious system resources. Also, you can go into any of your internet browsers, the one you use the most, just clear up any cache files, temporary folders, or cookies. Number 2, there are a bunch of utilities most Windows computers come with to help you make your computer flawless and easier to use under system tools. There's a disk cleanup. Once you do this, you pick which drive you want to clean up. It'll search for folders or files that your computer doesn't need, or files that you don't use that much, and see, it's just calculating and trying to find any files I don't use at all. And once it does this, you can click and select which files you want to keep or which to delete. What this basically does is just frees up some of your disk space so your computer can save to the hard drive a bit faster. Well, so while this is going, let's go into another system. Oh, there it is. So see, it says game statistic files. We don't need that. Offline web pages, temporary internet file, program files. See, we don't need any of this. See, temporary files, 1 GB. We don't need system error memory files. So once you pick what you don't need, just click OK and delete files. If you're unsure what it is, you should just leave it alone, because you never know, but usually this doesn't pick out any too important files. So while that's going, we're going to go into all programs and open up another Windows utility. This is called Disk Defragmenter. Right there. Now just again pick your main drive or any drives you want to do, and this just, as it says here, it consolidates fragmented files on a computer's hard disk to improve system performance. If you haven't done this in a while, it will take a couple hours, but you should try and do this maybe once a week, at least once a month for sure. Now the final step, you can go into your computer and find the most popular or the biggest drive. You can do them to all later, but you go to properties and tools. You're gonna want to go for error checking. It'll check if there's any drives, any errors in any of your drives. Check now, and then you click start. Now what this does is once you reboot your computer, it'll do a scan on your drive to make sure there's no errors. If there is, it'll fix it up automatically. Also, don't forget to do antivirus scans at least once a week. These are very important because one simple little virus can seriously mess up your computer. Try not to download any files from any suspicious sites, and like if you're gonna get music, please buy them to not risk your computer from malfunctioning or getting a virus. Because if you get a virus, they are expensive to, a computer is expensive to repair and clean up if you don't know how to do it yourself. So please do virus scans often. Finally, go to control panel, and you gotta go on laptops. It's really easy to find. Just right click on the battery and make it high performance. On the desktop, okay, on the desktop you want to go to control panel, and then you're going to want to go small icons or just classic view. You're going to want to go into power options and make it either balanced, which is recommended. This will just balance out how much power you're using. But if you really want high performance, it'll use more electricity, more energy, but your computer will run faster. If you're on a laptop, I recommend balance, but if it's plugged in, always go for high performance, because this will make your computer run 100%. Also, one feature that I forgot about, you go into personalize, and if you like in Vista, you can turn off arrow. That'll speed up your computer. It'll use less resources, but there is a way to make it so that you go into performance instead of look. See, like these ones, Windows 7 Basic, Windows Class. So that this one will be a little better performance than what I have right now. Windows Classic, it'll set it back, it'll make it kind of look like Windows 97, and it's just really basic, so your computer doesn't strain too much to just visual. So if you don't really mind about the way everything looks, like the arrow and whatnot, then it might be an option for you. Now the next thing you need to do, go into your task manager, and you go to, you should be in applications, go to processes. Now you need to see if there's any files using up too much CPU or hogging any of your resources. First off, you're going to want to do is show processes from all users to make sure there's nothing running on any other accounts. And you're just going to look for anything that's using, above normal. See, Avast, I need that because it's the antivirus, so we'll leave that. But see if there's any audio DG. Like if you're unsure what it is, just Google it or just search it, and it'll tell you if it's any bad files or anything, if it's just normal. But see if there's anything running above normal, you can just go to it. And like, let's see, I don't need see, system idle process. It might be high, but that number you just ignore. That says how much is free. So if I'm using 60 in a program, it'll show the opposite right here. Now let's see, I don't need Apple mobile device service, so you just end process. If you're unsure what it is, leave it alone because it could mess up your system, but most of the time you should be able to just see anything. And if it's not right, you can go and search further, Google it, search it, try and get rid of it. And here will show your PC's performance. You want to try and keep CPU usage as low as possible, because when this is at 100%, your computer is completely at its max. And it'll be when you're running programs, it'll be kind of slow. Your memory, which is your RAM, this is, the more memory you have, the more programs you can have open in the background. See, I recommend usually maybe 2 to 4 gigabytes of RAM, but for the more serious computer users or gamers, you're gonna want to look at maybe 6 to 8 gigabytes, maybe more. Like right now I have 2.5, and like it's enough for me to run most of my programs. Okay, so the next tip, you can get Ready Boost. Windows Vista and Windows 7 has this feature. If you have any flash drive or SD cards or any form of memory, you could just plug it into your computer, and Windows Vista or Windows 7 should pop up with a menu and to recognize it. So once you put it in at first, there should be an option to use as Ready Boost to speed up your system's performance, and that's what you're going to want to click. What this does is it acts as virtual memory, almost like RAM. Of course, it's not going to be as good, but it's good to always have a flash drive in to kind of help your system and help your RAM kind of speed it up a bit. Also, if your computer is running slow, and again, I recommend you get more memory, RAM. It'll cost you maybe $30, but it'll speed up your computer a lot, and I recommend at least 2 gigabytes, especially if you're running Vista or Windows 7. Now, as a last resort, if you've tried everything and your computer is still going really slow, what you can do is reformat your system. What this does is it basically resets your whole computer, wipes all your drives, and sets your computer back to the factory state. Now, I'll go into further detail, but most manufacturers have different ways of doing this. If your computer came with a disk, you just pop it in. And sometimes when you're booting up your computer, you press I think F11, F8, something like that, and it'll boot up the factory settings. Because lots of manufacturers they don't come with CDs anymore, and they just store it somewhere in the hard drive. And you're supposed to make your own CDs, but basically what this does is just wipes everything and you start from scratch. I found that maybe every couple years you might want to try and do this. So basically you're going to want to reformat every couple of years, because it will delete, because you never know, you might have all these files that you never knew about or forgot about in your background, really slowing you down. Now if you have any further questions, leave a comment in the box below. Subscribe, 5-star if you want to see more tutorials like this in the future. So stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy your almost new, faster PC.